Hi, Capricorn. I didn't bow. I need to bow in the presence of greatness. Hello, Capricorn. My name is Kristen Simone Hansen, and welcome to Secrets. All right, so hi, Capricorn. This is your Scorpio New Moon video, and the Scorpio New Moon is tomorrow. So we are already in the energy of it. You've been feeling it, and I am happy to say that the Scorpio New Moon for you guys is very lighthearted. Unlike for a lot of the other signs, it can be a little bit heavy. You guys are used to heavy. You're used to healing and having to go through the barrels of the depths of things, especially over the past couple of years. In general, you guys are a deep sign. You guys are deep people, but normally you can disconnect emotionally and try to detach from that. But the past couple of years, especially this year, Pluto has made it so that you've had to really go under and get to know your emotions and get to know the depths of the sea goat and get more comfortable there, which is good. And that's a part of the reason why the Scorpio New Moon is very transformative for you, but in a much more light-hearted way. So this new moon is present in your 11th house, and it is waking up your sector of your relationships, your friendships, your partnerships, and your networking connections and relationships. So you guys are feeling like, I don't know, magnetic. You're feeling like people are seeing you, people are more drawn to you, you're lighting up rooms, you're lighting up the sky, which is wonderful. Let's dive a little bit deeper into, I guess, the logistics, right? So Neptune in the 7th house, which is creating beautiful conversations and declarations of admiration. So that, in retrospect, is basically saying how you guys are now in a space where more people are showing up for you and telling you how they feel about you in a much more positive light. So if you have random friends who are just showering you with compliments, lovers who are seeing you clearly, giving you compliments, sacred, authentic compliments as well, not anything too low vibrational or too low to the ground, but people are seeing that sparkle in your eye, and it's working very effectively. People want to speak to you in a kinder way as well. As we were saying in October, where for some reason all of us, well, because of the transits, but people started to open their eyes to you, and then here in November that is getting even more expansive, where now they want to give to you on a literal level, and your social connections are the biggest way in which that is showing up. And most importantly, you guys are feeling good. You're navigating these emotions in a way that you are using them to transform yourself instead of kind of get stuck or lost, drowned, or washed away. You're very, very comfortable in the Scorpion energy, and you're not afraid of it. And your connections are getting deeper with your partnerships and your friendships. So you're having those, you've been doing this all throughout November, getting deeper in your conversations. Well, really since Mercury went into Scorpio at the end of October, you have been unapologetic in terms of talking about your emotions, the depths of your shadows, your truths, your history, etc. And these have been building stronger connections in your relationships and your friendships, stronger connections in your networking relationships as well, being more honest about what you need, where you've been, some of your woes, some of your difficulties and your heartaches as well. People cannot ignore your trauma anymore. They cannot ignore your journey anymore, and they're seeing how you not only have been through a lot, but you also have survived a lot. And it's creating, for some of you, it can make people uncomfortable, people that do not wish you well, but for others it's more like they just want to hold you. People want to take this load off of you. They see you and they see that glow that lives inside of you. So one of the biggest things I suggest is to not take November to not be afraid to show your softness. So that softness that normally you guys are afraid to show because you have to be the pillar of strength and that Capricorn energy, in November you have enough strength to fit an army. It's now time for you to kind of lighten that energy. Hold on to your depth of character, but integrate your power and your experiences in a way where it grounds you. But don't be afraid to show the lightness that lives inside of you, because it's drawing people closer to you. And it's not going to take away from your strength. It's not going to make you a target for bullying or cruelty or people trying to take advantage of you, not in the way they used to, because you're also powerful as well as beautiful. So you show the world how your experiences have transcended you, and don't be afraid to take down that pillar of strength image, because that pillar of strength lives in you. So you are grounded. Your feet are very much on the ground after everything that you've experienced. So you don't really have much to fear, and besides fear itself. All right, and allow those connections to build and grow and flourish and find themselves even deeper when it comes to you. So all of your toxic connections have been ending, this is like the aftermath of what was going on in October with the eclipse transits. So all of these connections or relationships that you've been trying to hold on to, trying to see the brighter side of them, or just really the trauma that you've been carrying, not being able to let go of the past, those things are ending. The Scorpio New Moon brings about new life and then makes it easier to let go. You're seeing them clear as day, and you are now have the momentum and the psychological clarity to disconnect completely, which is very powerful. It's almost like a beam of light is moving through you and moving through the way you see things. And that's how this new moon has been affecting you now that the energy is coming about. Which is great, because a lot of people in the collective, it's not necessarily putting them in the same place. But for you, Capricorn, you lift heavy weights, so there isn't anything about the depths of Scorpio that you are afraid of, not anymore. Some of you can also find yourself randomly ending some of your social media accounts, clearing out your image when it comes to your online platform, who serves and who doesn't, deleting people, just ending entire accounts, starting new ones, different things like that. You want to really honor your connections and your social dynamics, and you definitely don't want to experience what it is that you've experienced in the past again. And you're being very selective and very clear on that. Another big thing is like hanging out. Hanging out is a funny word, but spending more time with people who you haven't seen in a while that really speak to your heart. And you really want to emphasize that and do the best that you can when it comes to that. There may possibly be tension with people that you no longer want to keep around you. So this is kind of what I'm saying. Like there is this beam of light and this new beginning, right? But at the same time, there is this other side. So those who you want to keep and those who you want to let go of. Those new connections coming in that feel like clear water, feel like mineral water, and those old connections that feel like drinking poison. And when you are walking away from those in the past, it's not to say that they are happy about it. A lot of people are not happy to see you be able to survive, survive them, survive things that have happened, or even just, evolve to a point where you have reached a higher elevation or higher vibration to find yourself in a new reality. It's one way that, in general, you guys as sea goats tend to attract that kind of hater energy in that sense. Why is it that you guys tend to attract that in general? Usually because you tend to have a lot going for you, and that tends to create this kind of tension with other people. But one of the biggest things is you can evolve, you change, you grow. And this time around, you are now stepping out of the shadows completely. The November is seeing the end of the cycles that you have been going through. It's like stepping out of the shadow. It's stepping out of the clouds, basically, and you are reformed and you look great. You are better than ever. And with this, it can create and has created tension with those who have seen you down, those who have seen you struggle, those who have seen you in a dark place, those who were kind of maybe feeding off your energy while you were in that dark place, those who were parasitic. Now you have people who were happy that you were down because it made them feel up, as in they were scapegoating you. And then you have people that connected with you while you were down, and they're angry because they no longer feel like they can trauma bond with you or connect with you for low vibrational reasons. Do not internalize anything. Do not guilt trip yourself in any way. Walk away, because they do not serve you. The relationships no longer serve you, and you have to prioritize yourself. I'm going to get into romance in a second, but lots of action in terms of where it is that you want to see yourself and what it is that you want to do. Another thing that you might find yourself doing with friends and close relationships is working out. You really want to do more when it comes to your physical body, your physical presentation. This is going to be very present at the end of November as well, with the Gemini new moon in your 6th house, and you're going to really start to look at your health and your looks and your body, and start to create a plan for yourself in terms of what it is that you want to see moving forward. This Scorpio new moon has you now beginning that threshold, like, okay, you're feeling this action, you're feeling this energy, you want to work out, you want to do more with your body, go dancing, something along those lines, and you're definitely open and willing to do it either with friends or go in a space where you can socialize and meet new people that are more high vibrational and can actually add to your energy. Yeah, so a lot of old friends coming up to the surface, wanting to connect with old friends that actually serve you. I would say that throughout this year, you guys have been disconnecting from people more and more and more, kind of really chipping away at your social circle. But now you're revisiting people from the past that actually are healthier. Their eyes are open to you, and your eyes are also open to them. And you're saying, this person actually was never bad to me, or this person can actually be a part of my new life. Let me reach out to them. Let me see what it is that they are up to, while disconnecting from these people that no longer serve. Being very, very particular about your social dynamics and waking up to your personal power and the fact that you have a lot of it, and you're now unapologetically willing to navigate it and wield it. In terms of tensions, like I said, you may be running into tensions when it comes to feeling misunderstood, maybe by siblings, neighbors, different your connections, your old relationships. You can feel as if though, although there is all of this bright, fresh energy, those people who are not necessarily on this vibrational wavelength with you can feel like they no longer have access to you. They can feel like they don't understand you. They can feel like they want to kind of take you down a little bit because you're shining a little bit too bright. They can also accuse your new energy of being egoic. But there's something about you that is elevated, and it can cause a lot of tension with, siblings, neighbors, third house things, and again, your connections and your relationships with your friendships that do not serve. Anything or anyone that is creating tension with you right now, it is because they no longer serve. So do not be afraid to wield that sword and disconnect. Do not put yourself in a situation where you are hyper tolerating anything. This is the universe's way of showing you that this person does not have space. It's a Scorpio new moon, okay? So it's all about fresh new energy, and allow it to transform itself and not overly attached. Know how to let go. Know how to eliminate. That is Scorpion, knowing how to eliminate and not hold on. Another thing as well is getting to the bottom of your connections and your friendships. So really diving into the depths of them in terms of the relationships that you are keeping. You're very aware of how you're communicating with people, how you're showing up for them, and how they're showing up for you. And this has been going on as you've been refining yourself, and then also now refining who it is that you have around you. So again, you're not afraid to have the nitty-gritty conversations, saying things like, this does not work for me, that does. I don't like the way you communicate this. I'm setting a boundary here. What can I do to better show up for you as my friend, as my colleague, etc.? So the ways in which you're unafraid is actually working in your favor. And the more you lean toward stepping out of fear and stepping out of resistance in terms of changing your life the way you want it to, the better it'll be for you. Okay. So another thing to keep in mind is the connections that you're developing right now are intense. People are drawn to you in a very magnetic way because, again, we have the sun in Scorpio, we have the moon going into Scorpio, and we have Mars is also in Scorpio. So that's a big wake up of your 11th house sector, and you're feeling very, very magnetic. You're pulling people in without you even trying. So, and the good thing is anybody that gets drawn to you at this time is an intense connection that can work in your favor, especially as the next 6 months play out. I definitely would say that you are feeling a little bit more like a socialite. You are shining bright, as I said, and people are drawn to your magnetism. One thing I would do is learn how to integrate this career-wise, learn how to network in order to increase your net worth. So some of you have been running into, if not all of you have been running into some kind of tensions when it comes to the work that you're trying to create for yourself. How is it that you want to show up in 2024 in terms of your career, your finances? This new moon is great in terms of going out, networking, being a socialite, shining bright, and understanding that it's not about what you know, it's more about who you know. And you guys tend to be hard workers, and the universe has been trying to change you and shift you into understanding how to transform for the Aqua Pluto so that you can be financial leaders during that time, which in fact you will be, but you've had to learn how to do it in a way that works for the Aquarian age. And this is one of them. So it's not about sitting by the hammer and lugging each thing in order to create things the Capricornian way during the Capricorn Pluto. It's about understanding that it's about how you affect people, how you connect with people, and what it is that people can do for you based on their connection to you as a result of your energy. So how is it that you make people feel is actually what works in your favor now more than ever. And networking is going to bring you to exactly where it is that you want to go in terms of your net worth. So to wrap up with this in terms of astrology, I will discuss love and what is going on. So in terms of love, you guys are diving deep in your connections. If you are partnered up, you are involved with people that no longer make you feel like you have to hide yourself. So you're feeling more, I guess, comfortable in your own skin in terms of who it is that you're involved with. If people are drawn to you and wanting to kind of hit on you or connect with you, they're doing it in a much more authentic way. They really want to get to know who you really are. You've erased that kind of, I know we talked in the user video, a lot of that has been erased simply because your self-worth has been increasing. So the connections that you've been creating are so much more comfortable, so much more natural. It feels second nature for those of you that are involved. And for and these are new connections as well. The new connections feel second nature. They feel very natural. They feel very organic, almost like blooming friendships. And for those of you who have been in long-term relationships, you guys have gone through a lot over the past year, really during that Venus transit, digging out the closet, figuring out all the things that were going wrong. There are some tensions that have been carrying on throughout October, but this Scorpio new moon feels lighter, it feels more fresh, and you guys are restoring each other in a way where either you're letting go completely or you've learned how to become more of a bond that feels lighter and more like a friendship. It's like you're seeing each other again. You're renewing the way that you take in one another. So, and the same thing applies to exes, because some of you guys have some exes lingering around and your exes are seeing you very clearly as well. You're shining bright and people have their eyes on you. So you're looking good, you're feeling good. Those in the past can see it. Those in the present can see it, and the new people really want a piece of it, which is very, very good. So I would say just embrace it. You've learned so much. You've learned everything you needed to know in terms of how to protect yourself, how to defend yourself, how to not be taken advantage of, how to not be disempowered. You've been refined up until this point. Do not become the shell of a person who's, hiding yourself and being an overworker when it comes to your career. Allow this Scorpio New Moon to teach you how to network in order to increase the net worth and expand more, share more of your energy. And when it comes to love, take down the barriers, especially for those of you who have been through a lot. It's a process, but open up, because now you're in a space where you are much safer now than you've ever been in the past, okay? So it's just feeling really, really good. And I'm happy for you guys, because the Scorpio New Moon is very, I would say, sweet. Okay, so tomorrow is the day itself, so you're feeling this energy now, and you're going to be feeling it obviously after. The energy will probably take a little bit of a dive at the end of this week, and then you're going to be on the shadow side of it. When you're on the shadow side of it, It's not going to feel obviously as lighthearted as it does right now. It's more like you're acknowledging and recognizing the times where you didn't feel as good as you do now. You've got in the back of your mind the times when you were taken advantage of, bullied, treated poorly, the people that are resisting you, that are angry that you're evolving and changing and growing, they're definitely going to rear their ugly heads nearing the end of the week. And that energy is going to linger for the next week in terms of you learning the lessons that you need to learn in order for you to let it go. But right now, I would just say bask in the lighthearted energy, shine and glow, and allow yourself to be your best self, because you definitely deserve it. When the shadow side shows itself, temper your anger. Remind yourself that it was there in order to teach you how to be who it is that you are right now. And try to breathe deep in terms of wanting revenge or wanting to speak your piece to someone that is long gone, you know. Try to balance yourself and remember that you do more when you show up in the world and you finally put yourself in the spotlight, because you guys have been in the background for a very long time, and this is the beginning of you being in the spotlight. And 2024 is definitely going to be a big spotlight year for you in the beginning of your Aqua Pluto transit shine, which we're all very happy to see. So all right, so that was the astrology, and we're going to get into the reading. Okay, so Capricorn, we have the Eight of Swords here with the Sun in reverse, and that is clarified by endings bring new beginnings, growth, change, transformation, and liberation. In the shadow here, we have got, how many wands is this? We've got the Five of Wands, the Seven of Swords, and the Ten of Wands. And that is standing next to your healing point, which is the Sun, and your advice here with beyond the mind, the heart beats, and diving for light. So more than anything, I will just say energetically, this doesn't necessarily feel, I was going to say it doesn't feel heavy, but at the same time, it feels very transformative. So there is a little bit of hollowness that might be addressed. So kind of like where I mentioned that in between space of the dark and the light, there will be a lot of movement that happens emotionally. Ultimately, you're dealing with your own insecurities. So where self-imposed darkness is causing some kind of blockade, your self-imposed darkness is stopping you from experiencing joy, bliss, happiness. I mean, the Sun card is the happiest card in the deck, and there is something that is standing in the way of you being able to experience this. Obviously, this is here, double confirmation on the Sun going on. The Sun is in reverse in terms of what is taking place, what is transpiring here, and the healing happens when the Sun is embraced and the Sun is understood. So it's ultimately very clear in a sense of this self-perception, or the way that you're viewing something, feeling about something, and understanding something is causing you to be so blocked. You're putting yourself in this dark space. Almost as if the light is like sitting underneath you, inside of you, wanting to come out, wanting to show itself, wanting to burst out. But there are so many things that are running through your mind about it not being able to happen, it not being able to take place, or these new dynamics, connections is something that I just want to say are not working out in the way that you want them to, but it's you standing in your own way. So you're not realizing where maybe what it is that has had to die in the past, or the things that have taken place up until this point, are the things that are holding you back. Because it's you having to realize that that is no longer, and there's renewal here. So what it is that you are experiencing, or this newfound life that you have, or the opportunity showing themselves, this feels more like it has to do with other people. Which doesn't surprise me, because again, all of these Scorpio placements have you in your 11th house, and Scorpio is all about our connections with other people. In general, Scorpio is, a partner to the 8th house, where it's all about deeper unions, the way we relate to one another. And for you, Scorpio exalts your, I guess, activates your 11th house, and your 11th house is all about that. It's all about the way in which you connect with others on a deeply emotional level when you're talking about Scorpio energy. But it's the way that you are seeing things. It's the way that you are experiencing them, mainly because, again, look at this. In your shadow, we've got the 5 of Wands, we've got the 7 of Swords, we've got the 10 of Wands. You have dealt with a lot of pain. You've dealt with a lot of conflict, competition, negative. I mean, everything not good in terms of your social dynamics. The devil might as well have shown itself here, because you've dealt with a lot of confrontation, difficulty, conflict, negativity. You've dealt with people who have deceived you, stolen from you, hurt you, wounded you, binded you, and then you've also dealt with burdens, the burdens that took place because of these dynamics. All of this heavy energy is sitting in your shadow in terms of what is coming up until this place. And yet still here you are now in the modern day. It's put you in these self-imposed spaces. So every single one of these swords that are standing around you and keeping you blindfold, frankly, seem like they are very valid. They're extremely valid swords that are sharp and shiny. And ultimately, you're doing everything in your power to not hurt yourself, because clearly you've been hurt by others. And it's hard to believe that anything new, as this is saying, is new, that it's not just a representation of what you've dealt with in the past or repetition. Can you trust it? Can you believe in it? Are new beginnings possible? Can you illuminate in terms of the light? You feel it, you know it, you see it around you, but you just can't completely trust it. Especially when we're looking at, again, your advice, beyond the mind, the heart beats, going on with diving for the light. It's like you're still in this space where your mind is overran. It's filled with anxiety, it's fear, it's how do I know, how can I trust, where do I go, what do I do? You can also be seeing yourself, some of you, going through some kind of self-sabotage in terms of your connections, new work environments, and you're worried if they're going to work out, so you kind of are keeping yourself distant. New relationships, you're kind of trying to sabotage them and run away from them. All the new connections that want to serve you, or the new way you are being experienced or realized, is something that is scaring you. It's kind of keeping you in a space that is a bit hollow because of what you've dealt with in the past. You don't know if you can actually let go, and you are putting yourself in your own nightmare in this respect. That sun is not illuminating on the outside. It's staying within you, and you want to bring this light out, but you don't know who to bring it to. And you don't know if you can trust who it is that is interested in it. Your anxiety is driving you, but inside it's simply because you want to keep yourself safe because you've been wounded. But your advice is to step out of that space within your mind and to, again, dive for light. Confirmation with the sun here. It's all about you surrendering to positive thinking, surrendering to illumination. So I would say, and it's understanding that everything is new now. These endings have brought new beginnings. You are walking into liberation. So I would say the advice in this respect is to let go and allow, to share the light anyway, and allow who it is that is going to experience it to experience. But that, obviously, that's easier said than done. Let's read for the sun, shall we? You have what it takes. You are a light bearer. Within you is a healing power and spiritual wisdom you can tap into to find your way through any confusion or doubt. Again, confusion or doubt. Have confidence in yourself and know you are enough. Expect an affirming yes. So it goes back to this same space. And I would say one of the biggest things to do during this time is to look for the things that feel the most real. So where you are scared and where you are afraid to let go and afraid of surrendering and afraid of letting the wrong person in and walking toward the wrong dynamic and ending up in another nightmarish situation, look for what feels real, as in who is offering you a cup or a pinnacle that is very tangible. So where you're looking to see the return on your investment, where can you feel someone's genuine interest or care? Pay very close attention to the people and what it is that they are saying and what it is that they are offering. And that is the way how you step outside of this space, because during this Scorpio New Moon, there's a lot of serendipity in terms of gifts that you are being given when it comes to your social experiences. So for the next week or two, you are going to be seeing physical things in your reality reflecting back to you the fact that the past is no longer. So it's not necessarily about you, because here we don't see any major action cards. We're not sitting here looking at a situation where it's saying, take the first step or move toward this new beginning in a certain way. No, it's really just about stepping out of your own anxiety. It's about stepping out of your own perception. So it's allowing the illumination. It's insecurity, really. Fear, insecurity, and fear. It's clarity on action. And what to look out for. So actions to take. Again, we've got judgment. So it goes and what to look out for is the Eight of Cups. What you need to walk away from. So it goes back to the original narrative of, this is not a time for the next 2 weeks. This is not a time for you to be in a space where you are taking any kind of major action toward a new beginning. It's not to say the new beginnings aren't here, because they definitely are, but it's about you shifting your judgment. So it's all happening in your mind, really, at this point. It's the way you're seeing something. It's the way that you are consuming something or someone. It's just about changing your perception. So what does that mean in terms of your dynamic? The safe thing to understand here is you are not in a space that would make you vulnerable, where you have to decide for yourself if this makes sense, or if this person makes sense, or is this a good idea, and what actions do you take. There are no actions for you to take during the next week or two when it comes to the serendipity of this moon. All of the things that you guys have done up until this point, and many of you have done many things leading up to what it is that you desire the most when it comes to work or love or money, personal progression. You've taken all the action steps that have needed to been taken. November has been showing you how things are being given to you. And especially when you want to talk about, again, the way you're showing up, people are coming to you. People are gifting things to you. People are finishing things for you. You've done all of the work up until this point, kind of like building it and they will come. That is the narrative that you're experiencing for this new moon. So the security in that is understanding that your action steps are really just you clarifying what's going on in your own mind, having a strong sense of self-judgment, judgment of situations, clarity and control in terms of what is going on, and knowing what to walk away from and what not to walk away from. That's it. Closing the book on things that need to be closed and opening yourself to the right things. But there is no major action here. So it's allowing you to rest in the sense of that determination, that ambition that you normally lean into. You don't have to lean on it right now, which gives you the security of knowing you don't have to take a leap of faith. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be the one to turn the wheel. It's just a matter of you staying as you are, and these things are coming to you, and you just have to have the right discernment in terms of understanding what works and what doesn't work, which is ultimately extremely liberating. And that's what's going to get you out of this space. It's not something, I don't want you to put yourself in a headspace where you have to force yourself out of insecurity. Allow the let me finish what was rolling off my tongue. Allow the insecurity to roll off of you because of the things that are showing up for you. So again, it's not something that you have to fight. It's more like have discernment and let the things show themselves. Like, for example, if it's love, let the person show themselves to you, because they will. If it is money, if it is going on in your career, colleagues, business partners, networking, etc., these people will show themselves to you. The serendipity will come to you, and it'll shift your perception and clarify your judgment on its own. And so slowly, what it is that it's moving within your shadow in terms of the past will slowly melt away. But it's about you understanding illumination, you understanding the light, stepping out of anxiety the best you can. But again, you're assisted here because there are literal physical things that'll clarify that and validate those things for you. Unlike when you guys are stepping out on faith, right? When you've had to, especially during much of the Pluto transit or the Venus transit this year and different things like that, you've had to, or Saturn going retrograde, you've had to step out on faith and trust in blind faith. You know, you couldn't see it, you couldn't feel it, you couldn't touch it, you didn't know, but you just had to believe. That feeling is what you're afraid of right now, and that is not what it is that you're going to be going through. Again, it's going to show itself in the physical and allow it to do that, to slowly take each sword away from you, which is quite comforting. This is not an easy place to be in. I wouldn't say it's so completely despairing. No, it just feels a little hollow. That's all. It feels a little hollow. It feels like your happiness or your joy is within you, and you are worried that you cannot share it. You're worried that you cannot rest in it. You're worried about this, the light that is bursting inside of you, you're worried about because it doesn't feel like it has a space to rest. But it will. Just let it unfold. And your action is to know what to walk away from and what not, and what to keep, and allow yourself to bask in your own happiness. Seek that feeling of positive energy and try to separate yourself from that which is negative the best way you can. Okay, so that is your reading. I love you. Ciao.